Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moment, where love doesn't always need to be spoken, but can be seen in a single smile, a single gaze, or even a single plane ticket held up in the air. That day at the airport wasn't just an ordinary day. Amid the hustle and bustle of passengers rushing by, there was one small moment, just a few seconds, that made the entire fandom pause. Jungkook waited. Jimin smiled. And the world knew this wasn't just a coincidence. It was a language of love, in its quietest and most honest form. What really happened beyond the immigration line? What was the meaning behind that ticket wave and the unwavering gaze? In this video, we'll dive deeper, not just into the moment, but into the emotions behind it. Because when love appears, it doesn't need words. It just needs to be seen and felt. Airports are often chaotic places, rushed footsteps, rolling suitcases, and overlapping announcements. But that day, amid the usual noise, there was one unusual sight that made Jikook fans freeze, and maybe even tear up. Jungkook had already passed through immigration. He stood beyond the line, holding his plane ticket. But instead of walking away like the other passengers, he remained there, waiting. His gaze unmoved, fixed in one direction, toward Park Jimin, who stood just a few meters behind him. To some, this may seem like a trivial act. But to those who have followed the bond between these two BTS members for years, this was more than just waiting. Jungkook wasn't just physically present. He was emotionally present, as if the world around him dimmed, and only Jimin lit up in his view. And when Jimin finally passed through the checkpoint and met his eyes, that's when the moment happened. With his signature playful smile, Jungkook lifted his ticket into the air and waved it teasingly as if to say, "Look, I finished first." But his eyes said far more. Beneath the teasing, there was love, there was longing, there was warmth that couldn't be hidden. And Jimin? He smiled instantly. Not just any smile, but the smile of someone who knows he was waited for. Cherished. No hugs were needed. No sweet words. Just a smile and a gently waved ticket, and the Jikook fandom knew this wasn't just a moment. It was love in its purest and simplest form. Moments later, they walked side by side. No hand-holding, no public embraces. But the world saw something more. They were connected. Their bodies moved in sync. Their steps matched. Their aura was undeniable. A harmony only two hearts that truly know each other can share. And from that small airport moment, we are once again reminded of a truth the fandom has whispered for years. Jimin truly belongs to Jungkook. Jungkook may be known as the golden magne, talented, confident, and sometimes too cool. But in front of Jimin, he becomes someone else. There's a gentleness he doesn't show to anyone else. His eyes speak softly, deeply, and truthfully. He looks at Jimin as if he's looking at home. A place to return to. That gaze wasn't just casual. It wasn't just a glance. It was Jungkook's way of saying, "I see you. Always." He often remains quiet, but from the way he looks at Jimin, everyone knows. He's in love, and has been for a long time. Their story isn't about dramatic declarations. There are no grand speeches of love. But there is a language of the body, honest, consistent, and sincere. Jungkook is always by Jimin's side. He keeps his distance from others, but not from Jimin. He offers water when Jimin is tired. He hands over his jacket when it's cold. He gives small nods when Jimin speaks, giving space, yet ensuring his voice is heard. Even during concerts, when the lights go down and thousands of armies scream, Jungkook's hand sometimes gently touches Jimin's arm, just briefly, yet enough to say, "I'm here." The word belong often sounds possessive. But between Jungkook and Jimin, it represents depth and safety. Jimin doesn't belong to anyone, except the one he chooses. And from everything we've seen, from Jimin's shy smile when Jungkook compliments him, from the way his eyes search for Jungkook in a crowd, we know. His heart has made its choice. He chooses Jungkook. And Jungkook? He never demands. He never insists. He's simply there, voice, giving space, giving comfort, and loving in silence. The fandom only sees bits and pieces, blurry clips, airport candids, or a brief live at midnight. But those who look closely know, behind it all lies a much deeper story. More profound. More sincere. Jungkook once said, "Jimin Hyung is someone who makes me feel calm." Meanwhile, Jimin once shared that Jungkook is someone who makes me feel accepted. They are home to each other, shoulders to lean on. And most beautifully, they do it all without needing validation or attention. No permission needed to be loved. Love doesn't need a public announcement. Sometimes, it just lives in a smile. In a single plane ticket held high. In a patient gaze from behind the immigration line. Fandoms may be divided. Some support, some doubt. But love, if it's real, cannot be silenced by opinions. What happens between Jimin and Jungkook isn't just fan service. It isn't just the fandom's imagination. It's a love that has lived for years. From tired hugs to backstage giggles. You may deny the gaze. You may say, they're just friends. But one thing you cannot deny is the feeling that radiates between them. A feeling even cameras can't always capture, because it doesn't live on the surface. It lives in the seconds, the breaths, the meaningful silences. Jimin truly belongs to Jungkook. Not because of labels. Not because of confirmation. But because every movement, every glance, every laugh, and every quiet moment between them points to one thing: love. And maybe, in a world full of noise, under industry pressure and public expectations, these two hearts continue to find each other. Because in the end, true love always knows its way home. And Jimin always finds his way back to Jungkook. Now that we've seen it all, that gaze, that smile, that constant presence that never strays far. Can we still deny that Jimin is home to Jungkook, and Jungkook is Jimin's home? In a world filled with doubt and speculation, one thing remains unshaken. The way Jungkook looks at Jimin. It's not just attention. It's not just friendship. It's love, unspoken, yet fiercely protected in silence. Because true love doesn't need a spotlight. It only needs two hearts that know where they belong. And as fans have always said, not because of labels, not because of status, but because their entire universe points to one truth. Jimin truly belongs to Jungkook. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more Jikook moments, because every second between them is a love story worth remembering.